Now this is rationalization of surd. We are going to put all what you have learned from the beginning of this surd to the last chapter before this into practice. And this rationalization of surd is always a major problem or major concern for students, but it is very simple. Let's look at how we can solve this. Now, for example, let's assume they give us something like this. We start from the simple question, then move on to build on that to complex question. Let's assume we are given like this. They said you should do this. It says simplify the following by rationalizing. This is how it always comes out. Sorry, let me cancel this. By rationalizing the denominator. My handwriting is beautiful, right? So how are you going to go about this? Let's assume we are given something like this. Let's start from the simplest one. Let's say 1 over 2 minus root 3. You have to simplify this thing by rationalizing the denominator. Now this is the denominator. If you want to rationalize, you multiply the up and the down by the denominator. You have to change what is between them into plus. It means you multiply the top and the bottom by the what? By the is that not binomial? No. Is it binomial? By the conjugate, sir. Thank you. By the conjugate of this denominator. And the conjugate of this denominator I told you is that you turn this minus into plus. You are going to multiply the up and the down. So this one, what you now give us is 1 over 2 minus root 3 times 2 should be 2. This thing, instead of minus it should be plus root what? Root 3 over 2 plus root 3. I know that anything times 1 is still give us what? It still give us the same thing. So 1 times everything here will still give us 2 plus root what? Root 3. Now the bottom, you can recall when we are multiplying conjugate, you can transfer this thing, you can transfer it to square that. This, let's say 2 times 2. I'll do it first way, now do it at the second way, which I told you how to multiply conjugate surd. Let's look at it. 2 times 2 here is what? Is 4. 2 times root 3, that is what? Plus what? 2 root 3. Minus root 3 times 2, that is what? Minus 2 root 3. Then minus times plus is what? Is minus. Root 3 times root 3 will give us 3. Did you get that logic? So here now, this plus 2 root 3 will cancel minus 2 root 3. So this and this will cancel out. So we have 2 plus root 3 over, what is left? We have what? 4 minus 3. And 4 minus 3 is what? Is 1. So 2 plus root 3 over 1. So you don't need to, since it's over 1, there's no need to put over 1 there. So your final answer will be what? 2 plus root 3. So that is that for that one. Let's look at another question. We are given something like, let's assume we are given something like this. We have let's say we have 2, let me just say we have 2 root 3 minus root 5 over 2 root 3 plus root what? Root 5. Now you have to rationalize this by we have to rationalize using the denominator. So we have to conjugate. I think this plus will now turn to minus. The first one was minus, that's why I changed to plus. So you multiply the up and the bottom. So this one is going to multiply about 2 root 3 plus root 5. So it's not plus, it should be minus. Sorry for this inconvenience there. So you have to change this. Sorry for the, so because the plus here will change to minus, because that is what conjugate means. Minus will be here all over the same thing here. That will be 2 root 3 minus root what? Root 5. Now for this, now let's multiply the top number. So this is 2 times this 2, it is what? It is 4. Root 3 times root 3 is root 9. Let me just do it like that. For those of us that may find it difficult, 2, there's an invisible 1 here. 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. Root 3 times root 5 is root 15. And the next one, there's an invisible 1 here. Minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. Let me shift this thing a little bit so that, okay. So minus 5 times 2 minus, so okay, minus 5 minus 1, there's an invisible 1. Minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. Root 5 times root 3 is root 15. Then the last one, minus times minus is what? Is plus. Then root 5 times root 5 is root 25. So you can just write ordinary 5 here according to our rules. Now, instead of me now undergoing all this stress, these are conjugates. I can use my formula for conjugate I told you earlier. So the formula for conjugate is very easy. I will just take this, I will square this, then I will square these two. This will be 2 root 3 squared minus, this is root 5 here, so minus root 5 what? Root 5 squared. You know, I taught you this thing in our previous class. So when we continue with this, let me move this thing so that you can follow along. So when we continue with this now, 4 root 9. Root 9 is 3. 3 times 4 is what? Is 12. So you have 12 here. Minus 2 root 15 minus 2. This one is not plus, so you can't cancel them. It's just like, because and they have root 15, so you can do this simplification. Minus 2 give us what? Minus 4. And both of them have root 15. You pick one of the root 15 plus what? Plus 5. Now with this now, this one now, 2 squared is what? Is 4. 2 squared is 4. This square will cancel this square. This square will cancel this square, which means 3. That will be 4 times 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. It means all this one here is what? Is 12 minus, and no root 5 square. This square will cancel this one. You have what? You are left with what? You are left with what? 5. That is it. So collecting that times here, 12 plus 5, that will be 12 plus 5 minus 4 root what? Root 15 all over 12 minus 5 is what? I think that is what? That is it 12 minus 5? That is 7. I should give us 7 if I'm right. Yeah, it's 7. 7. So 12 plus 5 here is what? Is 17, right? So let me scroll down. 12 plus 5. So your final answer here is 12 plus 5 is 17 minus what? Minus 4 root what? Root 15. Everything all over what? All over 7. So this is your final answer for this one. So let's now move to, there are some questions that I want us to solve here. This is the last question here before we now move to some question under y, which we are going to solve together. So you now have understanding of how y question works. Let's give us some, let's assume they said express 2 root 5 plus 5 root 2 plus 5 root 2 all over, it gives us what? 2 root 5 minus 5 root 2. Let's say in the form q plus r root s, where what? Where q, r and s are rational number. So how are you going to solve something like this? You'll be confused that what is all this problem that we want to finish us with. Now don't panic, just solve it, rationalize it first. So it means if I want to solve this will now become, I'll multiply the up and the down by the conjugate of the denominator plus 5 root 2 all over Now we have what? 2 root 5 minus what? 5 root what? Root 2. Then times, so when you multiply it, you have what? Here will be what? 2, what is at the bottom? 2 root what? 2 root 5. You know it's minus here, you change it to what? To plus. Plus what? 5 root what? Root 2 all over. Then we have what? 2 root 5 plus 5 root what? Root 2. So this is what this thing will lead us to. Now let's move on. Now what you're going to do now is that let's multiply this thing. If I find it difficult, just follow the way I told you the last time. So let's multiply it. 2 times 2, it is what? It is 4. That is clear. Root 5 times root 5 will give us root 25. Let's do it like that. For those people that may find it difficult to tally along, 2 times 5, it is what? It is 10. You write 10 here. Root 5 times root 2 is root 10. You write it like this. Now next one, you move on to the next one. This is plus, you write plus here. 5 times 2, it is what? Is 10. Root 2 times root 5 is what? Is root 10. That one is clear. Plus times plus is what? Is plus. 5 times 5 is what? Is 25. And root 2 times root 2, it is what? Root 4. Let's do it like that for clarity's sake. All over, so that I'm going to use the other page, no problem. Now this one, I told you what to do. So you pick this 2 over 2 over 5. So this is what you're going to do. 2 root 5 according to binomial I taught you about, squared, then minus, then they are both 5 root 2, 5 root 2. So you pick that also, 5 root 2, then you are going to what? Square it also. So let's move on. So I'm going to do this at this side here. Yeah, just hope this thing is not okay. Now it means for this one now 4 root 25, this 25 is 5 times 4 is what? Here is what? You have 20 here, plus, now this is 10 with 10, 10 with 10, 10 plus 10 is 20, but we both have with 10 with 10, so this one is what? 20 with what? With 10, right? Now for this 25 is that root 4 is what? Is 2. Root 4, square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 25 is what? Is 50. So this is going to be 50 here, all over. Now what do we now have now? You know what is here? That 2 squared is what? Is 4. This square, this is 2 squared, which is what? Is 4. Now this square will cancel this square root, so you have what? Times what? Times 5. And 4 times 5 is what? Is 20. Minus this one also, 2. 5 squared is what? Is 25, right? Now this 2 will cancel this square root, so times what? Times 2. 25 times 2 is what? That is what? That is 50. So moving on with our work here, I just hope there's enough space for us. Okay, there's enough space here, so I'm going to draw a line here to continue my solving. Hey, no problem. So we have, let's collect like time. So we have 20 plus 50 plus 20 root what? Root 10 all over. Now 20 minus 50 is what? Minus what? Minus 30. Now 20 plus 50, that is what? 70, plus what? Plus 20 root what? Root 10 over what? Over minus 30. Now there's one thing I want us to know here, that 10 can go in all over. 10 can go here, 10 can go here, 10 can go here. So if I use 10 to divide everything, we have 7 plus what? Plus 2 is possible, because 10 goes to 70 is 7, 10 goes to 20 is 2. With what? With 10 all over what? All over minus what? Minus 30. Now, sorry, this 10 also, sorry, 10 goes in 30 is also 3. Sorry for this. So 10, because 10 will divide everything, both the numerator and the denominator. So because 10 can go, if 10 cannot go in all of them, you leave it like that. By the time you start solving y question, you understand how that one goes, but you should know it's normal simplification minus 3. So this minus, my advice is for you to take it up. You can't have minus that. You can't have something like you have 2 over minus 3. It's not possible. You have to take this minus up. So what you should have here is minus 2 over 3. That is normal way of writing numbers involving minus. So this minus will come up here. this minus will now multiply everything that is here. So what we have now is minus 7 minus 2 root what? Root 10, everything all over what? All over 3. Now we are not done, so let's move on. So look at the question they gave us. So they said you should make it like, you can see that equation is something like this, can be minus, can be plus, no problem. I said it's q plus r root x. So where q, r, and so this form, this is how they want your final answer to be, q plus r root x. Now looking at this thing, q plus r root x, it means I can split this thing. I can split them. These 3 is affecting, just like saying like 1 plus 3 over 2. It's same as saying 1 over 2 plus 3 over 2. That is what this thing, that is what it means. So clearly that I can just like, let me just manage this space. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now I can rewrite this thing as saying my final answer here. Let me use the other board. Sorry for this. Let me use the other next board. Minus 7 minus 2 with 10 over 3. Sorry for this. Okay, we have minus 7 minus 2 root what? 2 root 10 all over what? All over 3. So I can arrange this and I said r plus q root what? Root s. And that is what our formula is. If I'm right, minus 7 minus 2 root 10. Okay, in the form of q plus r root s. So q plus r root s. So this is like q plus r root s. So q plus r root s. Q plus r root s. So this is what q plus r root s. This is how it said what? Q plus r root what? Root s. Now what this thing is, you can now write this thing as saying this one here is for this. That will be minus 7 over 3 minus this one also is what? Minus 2 root 10 over what? Over 3. So this is what it means. So this is your final answer. It means my q is this. So this is my q. This one is my q, right? This is my r. Minus 2 over 10 is my r. And what? And with 10, this s is what is what? What is the root? So I'll start solving y question. You understand how to solve this particular question. So in our next class, we'll look at some y question which you are going to solve to now give you background knowledge of this thing. Let's move on.